Hey, passive traders, how you doing? Coming to you again with some bad news. Turns out that $1 million is not a big deal anymore. It's not enough to be a millionaire. Or is it? I don't know. We'll talk about that. So there's a new survey that just came out. CNBC reported on it. That's how I came about it to see it. It's put out by a company called Natixis, Natixis Investment Advisors. That's what their name. Financial company. They did out a survey and they asked millionaires, and they asked, 1,617 millionaires who already have $1 million in assets, right? And they asked them about what they think and how they feel about the economy, their future, retirement in the year 2022. Unfortunately, most of them, a lot of them said that they are not very secure in their financial footing. In fact, 35% of these millionaires said that it will take a miracle for them to retire securely. Now, imagine that. You're a millionaire. Everybody's told you, well, hey, the goal is to get to $1 million, so that you can live in luxury for the rest of your life. You can stop working, quit the job, sell your business, whatever, and just relax and enjoy the rest of your life. But the people that have this $1 million are saying, hey, we got here, but it's not enough. So, my goodness, why? What happened? Well, turns out that $1 million is not what it used to be anymore. So anybody that goes, hey, I'm a millionaire, yeah, big deal. Sorry, but big freaking deal. It's not enough. In fact, in the world right now, there are over 21 million millionaires. 21 million. That doubled from 2010 to 2020. And it keeps going up, right? So it's not a big deal anymore. And then 58% of these millionaires, 58% of them said that they will have to work longer than expected. So if they were planning on retiring at age 65, like most people do, they're gonna have to work longer, even if you have $1 million in assets, according to this survey. Wow, that's insane, right? And it could be any number of this, right? So there are economic threats growing. Inflation is there. The public debt is huge for the government. Almost every government has tons and tons of debt, and that makes things harder for us. Because taxes go up and all kinds of stuff happens. Inflation is eating away at the money that you have, right? Interest rates are at super low points, even though the interest rates have risen, right? You go to the bank, and have a very high interest rate savings account, and I'm getting 3.5%. So that's fine, that's decent, but it's a lot less than inflation. And so I'm losing money with my money sitting in the bank. 2022 is just a tough year for retirement, right? The market was down over 23%, S&P. So what do you do? Well, that is the normal way of thinking, right? So let's say you save up all your money, or you give it to an investment advisor, and then they grow it for you, supposedly, right? And then when you retire, you're supposed to take out 4% of that and live off that. Now, $1 million, 4% of that turns out to $40,000 a year. Now, yeah, you do get, some benefits in here and there and Social Security and whatnot, but still, you want to live on $40,000 a year?
Oh, hell no!
No, I don't know. I mean, I live in Texas and it's pretty cheap to live here, one of the lowest costs of living, but still, yeah, 40,000, you're like poverty level here, even here. Right? You live somewhere where it's a lot more expensive. I mean, forget about it. You can't do it. You're going to keep working. So most people out there have a very hard time, even with $1 million, to be able to retire. And it's really sad. On the other hand, if you know how to do passive trading, you don't even need $1 million. And we have other episodes and other videos that show you how to do the math. Look for the one about a retirement calculator, and you can figure out that it doesn't take $1 million to live a really, really good life. I mean, let's say you have $1 million, and instead of the measly 4% that you're supposed to take out, what if you could actually make 10% on that a year? If you can take your $1 million and make 10% a year, that's $100,000 plus whatever benefits you get from the government. Most people would be like, hey, yeah, that's really good. I can live off that. And that's 10% a year, right? We like to look at it and say, hey, we want to make 2% a month, 2% every single month. That's going to be a lot more than 10% a year, right? That's 24%. So now we're not looking at 100,000. We're looking at 240,000 for the year. And that's relatively simple to do. It's not easy, but it's simple. we can explain it to you within 10 minutes and you'll get the picture with examples and be like, hey, you do this trade, it'll make you 2%. And it's very conservative, it's very safe, right? And that's on the low end. Like you can actually do better. You can do other strategies that generate more. And so it's really insane that even in this country right now, in this year where everything is good, like one of the richest countries in the world. Notice I say one of, it's not the richest. I don't know if it is anymore, but things are changing and it's not the way they were 10 years, 20 years, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, right? So we have to adapt as well. We have to adapt our finances. We have to adapt the way we think about our finances, the way we think about money. We cannot be afraid of money. We have to know how it works. We have to know how to invest it, and we have to take it away from people who don't know what they're doing. Financial planners, investors, wealth advisors. If the person you give your money to invest is going to take that money and give it to somebody else, why do you need the guy in the middle? You don't. He's just taking his fees. He's getting wealthy off of you. He's paying his bills off of you. And most of the financial planners and wealth advisors that I know are not really wealthy in themselves. So it's like, hey, why am I taking advice from the blind? It's the blind leading the blind. Now, if you had a financial advisor who was a multi-millionaire and he got that way not by managing money, but by actually investing, then yes, he's the guy you give the money to. Okay. That guy knows what he's doing, right? He's the one you want managing your money because he's done it before. He knows how to do it and he can do it again and again, hopefully. But the average guy, the average financial guy off the street, he's a working Joe, just like you are, just like most people are. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's trying to make a living, but he's not an expert. Just because he watches the news all day doesn't make him an expert. His company has experts, the company he works for, right? He probably works for a larger, or he's aligned with some larger company that gives him information, but still he couldn't trade his way out of a bag. Now, oftentimes I've talked about the guy that's in my office next door. He's a financial planner. He has almost $100 million under assets in management, $100 million. And he charges a 1% fee, about average. So this guy, he makes close to $1 million a year managing other people's money. Now, it did take him maybe 20, 30 years to get to that level. But that's a pretty nice income, right? And he doesn't trade very well. Now, me and him, he knows I trade, he knows I teach, and so we talk about stuff. So he does stuff for his clients, and then he does stuff for himself. So he does actually trade for himself, but he doesn't trade very well. He's lost almost $500,000 just last year, and he's losing more this year. And the year's just started. Just because you are a financial advisor, just because you get all these reports and you know the words and the jargon and the lingo and you know what earnings are and all that stuff, doesn't mean that you're a good trader. Doesn't mean you're a good steward of other people's money. So these guys, they take your money, they give it to somebody else. And that's what he does, right? He invests it in different funds, in different mutual funds, in different index funds, and in bond funds. And he does all that. And so people are happy with him because they don't know any better, right? So as long as he can do kind of close to what the market is doing, people are happy and they keep paying him. That's the business he built. That's wonderful. That's great. People need that, right? Everybody can't trade for themselves. There are people out there that need to just turn over the money to somebody else. And if you can find somebody you can trust, somebody that knows what they're doing, great. But most of these financial planners, they're not rich, number one. And number two, they didn't get rich by investing their own money. They got rich by charging fees. And so he's okay. My friend next door, he's okay with losing $500,000. I mean, he's not happy, but he's not going to go broke because he's making close to $1 million in fees.
What?
So for him, he doesn't spend that much money. Right? And so he's okay. And he works maybe 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. So for him, it's a really good life. That's how it is. Right? So if you are a millionaire, right, you cannot expect to give your money to an advisor and be able to retire. Well, at least most of the people in this survey that we're talking about feel that they cannot. And in fact, there was a number here at the bottom, says here about 36% of these millionaires feel more than one third, feel that they will never have enough money to retire. They will never be able to retire. So even though they did everything right throughout their life, they save, invest, $1 million, millionaire, right? Money bags. They won't be able to retire. And that's really sad. So hopefully I can get you to start passive trading. You know, it just starts with one trade. Pick one strategy, just put one trade on, see how it works, right? Reach out to us. We can show you some videos. We can show you some examples. There's so many things that we're working on. We're bringing stuff out there. We already have a lot of stuff out there. Just try it. Just please try it. See how it works. Okay, you owe it to yourself. And then once you learn how to do it, it doesn't take very long. So it's not like you have to quit your job and be trading full time. Okay. If you're trading more than half an hour a day, I mean, you're probably doing it wrong. You're doing it too much. You're taking too much time. You're doing it wrong. So realistically, yes, you can make a lot more than the experts can make for you. That's number one. Number two, if you do the old way, you need over $1 million to retire on time. With $1 million, you'll maybe never retire. But with the passive trading way, with $1 million, you can retire. You can retire today with a lot less because we can show you how to make more. And when you make more, everything becomes easier. But the trades themselves are very simple. So why more people don't do this? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I'm out there preaching, and that's why I would really love it if you would share this with other people that you know. If you know anybody that is struggling with retirement, struggling with their finances, struggling like, hey, I don't know what to do. I'm getting older, right? You're in your 50s or 60s, and like retirement is coming. I don't know what I'm going to do. Please share this with them. Let them hear it. Tell them. If you've been trading for a while, share your experience and be like, you know what? This stuff actually works. If you know it works, if you've been able to do it, if you haven't and the stuff is not working for you, please reach out to us and we'll point you in the right direction. Okay. And then if you are in the category of somebody in this survey where you are very, very wealthy and you don't have time, then maybe reach out to us and we can point you in the right direction of some advisors that we know that would be able to help you, that are very, very good at what they do, and that they can actually help you and manage your money for you, but they are actually really, really good at trading and investing for their own money. So we know that they can handle your money because we do in our network and in our customer base, we do have several people who are investment advisors, wealth planners, financial planners. And so we know they know their stuff because they've learned it from us. They've learned how to do the passive trading, so they can actually help you. So if you need somebody like that, reach out to us as well. We'll try to hook you up and connect you. All right. So this is my warning. This is a sad day that you have to be more than a millionaire to retire on time, or even if you are a millionaire, you might never retire. That's pretty sad. So today's just some sad news for a lot of people out there, but hopefully for you, this has been an epiphany. A light bulb gone out, like, hey, maybe I can do something about this. Maybe this passive trading stuff I should look into. And I hope you do. All right. So until next time, may trade with the odds in your favor and take care.